I have a story about Captain James Jackson, who lived in Arapawa Island, or Te Awaiti, Marlborough Sounds, New Zealand. Captain Jimmy Jackson, a remarkable whaling character in the early days, was in 1842 described as all florid fatness, jollity and juice. Born in Putney, London, in 1800 he came out to Australia as mate of the whale ship Elizabeth in 1828. The following year he came to New Zealand as master of the trading brig B. A seaman of big build, 1.87 metres tall, and weighing 121 kilograms, Jackson is reputed to have circumnavigated the South Island in an open sailing boat. Around the turn of the century, T. Lindsay Buick wrote, Jackson was a tremendous talker and held opinions upon almost everything under the sun, as well as liberal quotes from Guthrie's Geography. He usually relied on texts from Holy Scripture to stagger his opponents. But his use of Scripture was not less peculiar than his application of prayer, of which he sometimes took advantage to extricate himself from an awkward situation. Such an instance is related of him when he was conducting Reverend Rie around the coast on a pastoral visit to the whaling stations. The wind was not to Jimmy's liking, and he began to say some very uncomplimentary things about it, but suddenly remembered the missionary was sitting in the stern of the boat, and immediately assumed a pious air and explained in most fervent tones, God forgive me for swearing. And then casting a knowing look at Reverend, he roguishly remarked, You see, Mr. Rie, I wipe off as I go along. Jackson apparently kept a dictionary in his bedroom and consulted it whenever he got a chance. He was also passionately fond of playing draughts. Dr. Ernst Diffenbach said that in 1839 Jimmy Jackson employed some 20 Maoris in his whaling business. They built 2 large houses for the white men and slept at night crowded about the fireplace. When Edward Jerningham Wakefield arrived at Te Awaiti in September 1839, the whaling township comprised of 3 shore stations, one under the direction of James Jackson, one under the direction of Dickie Barrett, and another by Joseph Toms. Jimmy Jackson was said to be the first man to build a boat in New Zealand of sufficient size to trade to Australia, and he was probably the first man to import cattle to New Zealand. He gave shelter to Te Raparaha after the Wairau massacre and accompanied Wakefield in the exploration of Pelorus Sound. When Jimmy Jackson died on 2nd of August 1877, his wife Eliza is said to have burned all his private possessions. She apparently thought he had died of a contagious disease. He was no good to me alive, and is a sight less use to me dead, she is alleged to have remarked. The inscription on his headstone reads, Sacred to the memory of James Jackson, who departed life August the 2nd, 1877, aged 77. The old man sleeps in his narrow bed. His trials on earth are over. The wind may shriek overhead, and the mountain torrent roar. And he sweetly sleeps through the tempest rave, and the storm cloud gather over grandpa's grave. So that was the story of James Jackson.